So seduction is just an art, and I live my life in art form. Not always, like I'm not always dressed like this. I'm not always trying to like seduce people, but it's sometimes the words that come out of my mouth, it just seems like I'm reading people. Like I read people a lot, because if you don't know your target, because you have to have a target. My target, I have different targets. I have, the man, the target. That's who I'm trying to seduce. And I seduce the man by, relating to him, having these same stories, or having these stories that you probably that you'll never live. Like, oh, you're dealing with multiple women. Or I could tell about a story that I had 2 women in the same setting or something like that. And it's like, damn, like this guy seems like he's godlike.
Hey everybody, welcome to the New Rich Podcast, the fastest growing podcast for entrepreneurs, where we help you build 6- and 7-figure online businesses. And from time to time, we bring some really, really dope and interesting people. And today we have one of the most amazing, fascinating people you've ever met. So get ready. Wow. But before we do that, hey, Dr. Faith, how you doing today?
I am great, my love. How are you?
Good. I see you beaming. What's happening? How's your week going?
My week is flying. It's going good. I'm really happy about it. I'm busy as usual, but business is popping and I'm excited about that. But the kids' school year is almost over. So I get some of my time back when their school ends. So I'm happy. So how about you?
Good, really good season. Business is growing, helping people, doing wonderful things, getting ready for summer. And this time of the year.
And we're taking trips.
Yeah, taking trips this summer, really doing something for the children,
Yeah.
And those entrepreneurs out there, don't get too busy that you forget to create time for the wife and the children, especially. I've learned that, no matter how many gifts or how much I spend on the children, what they appreciate the most is the time I spend with them.
Quality time.
That's what they remember. They don't care about the Rolls Royce, the Bentley, all this fun stuff.
You say that, but I think the last born really does enjoy the Rolls.
Yeah, except the last one. It makes me take him to school at least once a week in the Rolls Royce. He likes it. He likes to pull up in the Rolls Royce. So we're excited about that. Yeah. But guys, we have a special treat for you today. We have the man of the hour, the man of the moment, the man of the future, the one and only Jonathan Dupiton, right? Mr. Finesse.
So much pressure.
His government name.
I know, and you can see he's looking all finessey, if I can use that word.
Dapper.
With the red tie, I don't know if you can see his Gucci shoes and his multicolored socks.
Let me tell you, like this looks like it's. I put this together very well, but I literally put this together in 5 minutes. I had to, because I was transitioning into a new apartment, so all my stuff is like just thrown out, and I had to just kind of piece some stuff together. I was like, damn, I don't want to be late, so I started off with the shirt. I was like, let me put the shirt on. I know what shirt I need to put on. All right, let me find the pants. And I put the pants on, and then I need a tie. Or I was trying to just piece together an outfit, and I just did it, and it just came together really well.
Wow, that's
coordinating.
Good. Yes, it works pretty good. And you have this thing with fashion, just so natural for you. But let me ask you though, because we can just start like this. We're just gonna fly and have a conversation with our audience. There's something about the red tie, right? From literally, I've learned about politics when presidents, when they have put a red tie on, that is significant. So does red tie have any significance with you, or is it power move? Is there something to it, or are you just feeling today?
Well, red within itself is just a color that you just have to pay attention to. Like all the fast food restaurants, most of them have red in it. McDonald's red and yellow, Burger King, all of them. So like it's just an eye catcher. It makes people draw to the color. So if you have a splash of it, like this red tie, if I walked anywhere, it's gonna make people notice me. So I never try to do too much red, but I know that red makes me look good, and it makes people stare. So politicians, they probably use that as a tactic because they want people to basically get seduced by them. So not just the words that they're saying, but what they have on.
Okay.
Wait, but you said politicians want others to be seduced by them. Now, you know that word seduce or seduction is mostly used in a sexual term. Yeah. So presidents want people to be sexual towards them?
Yes, not sexual, but they want to seduce the masses. They want people to fall in love with them. They want people to believe them. They want people to believe in what they're offering. So another way by doing it is by seducing them and, putting people in this trance, like John F. Kennedy, he was very charismatic, and he used that to he used that to gain the power, and I don't know if
some women too, I heard, but
yeah.
I'm just
and seduction is just, people don't know what it is. It's just they use it, they think of it as a sexual term, but I look at it totally different.
Okay, we're going to come to that, and really show people how to use seduction to grow their finesse, their personal brand, their business, and everything else. But just kind of, maybe somebody's watching you right now, they don't know you or your backstory. So can you kind of tell us about where you've been, where you were born, how you got to where you are today, and what you do?
Well, to sum it all up, my parents are from Haiti. They moved to New Jersey, my mom and my dad. Where I was raised about 8, 9 years old. And then my mom left my dad because he cheated and started another family or something.
Wow.
Typical Haitian overseas people from overseas. Not you. You're a different breed, I would say. But he messed up. My mom left him, and that basically left my mom with 5 kids. And she struggled a lot. She was a nurse. She worked double shifts, and I seen that growing up. And I was a troubled kid, but I got to an age where I just wanted to help my mom, and like I wanted to just be like that man that she relied on. Like I didn't want her to have a boyfriend or another husband. I didn't like men coming around. So like at the age of 16, when I started working, I just started helping her with bills, and that was really like the reason I started doing illegal things. Like I wanted money for myself, but I wanted my mom to struggle less. So like I started doing, like at the age of 12, I was doing illegal things like breaking in houses, doing just dumb stuff that kids do with no reason at all. I was just doing it. I wasn't gaining anything from it. Like I would steal PlayStations or little things, but when I think back at it, it was just me being a kid, and I didn't have any type of no man a male in my life to scare me, to put fear in me, so I wouldn't do these things. So it was just like, well, maybe it was like a lash out because I wanted my dad in my life. So if I got enough trouble, maybe he'll come for me.
Right.
But this is me looking back at it, Yeah. But he never came.
Are you the oldest?
No, I'm the middle.
Okay, so you have a guy or a girl?
Both.
Okay, I see. Go ahead.
So I had younger brother and sister.
I just feel like that's a older child quality to want to help your mom in the situation that she found herself.
Mm-hmm. Well, my brother, he's not. He's a little off, I would say. Yeah. Okay. So that wasn't his mindset. Like he was just, he was off. That's what I'm gonna say. He's off. So me. I'm basically my older sister, my older brother, they kind of looked up to me. And then I have younger brothers and sisters that look up to me as well. So I'm the middle child, but get treated like the oldest. And also I'm the oldest amongst my cousins. So out of my mom's brothers and sisters, it's about maybe 16 of us. And so I'm basically the leader of my brothers and sisters. Then I'm the leader of the family as well. So like, I have it's a lot of weight on my shoulders, even from when I was 16 up to now. Like people look up to me, people need help. They come to me for advice, for money, whatever it is, and I have to be there for them. I have to be a great leader. So I had to change. So like me going to prison, I never looked at it like I was, like a sheep of the family, or I didn't look like people looked down on me because, it was just a mistake. But before I went to prison, people knew what I did. They know where the money was coming from. They didn't have a problem with it. So I didn't think they would look at me any different now. But as I was growing up, I felt like all my uncles and aunts kind of like shunned away from me because I was this bad kid. Like, why are you putting your mom through all this stuff? But I didn't understand why. I didn't even have a reason. I was just being bad. So long story short, I did go to prison for fraud. I did 3 years for
what kind of fraud are you able to share?
It was food stamp fraud. Something that people wasn't doing. So like I wasn't a scammer. I was just finessing. You know, I was just using the skills that I had, you know, to finesse a situation. So like it would be other things that will come about that I wouldn't just do because I don't believe in stealing from people. I don't believe in stealing from people's bank accounts. I did one particular thing, which was steal from the government, and that might not have been the right thing to do, but I feel like I wasn't stealing from anybody. Even when the feds came, I was like, y'all here for me? What did I do? I didn't think what I was doing was worthy enough to go to federal prison for it. But what a rude awakening. I did 3 years. Wow. I'm really grateful that I did that time.
Really?
Even though some things happened, like my mom passing away while I was in prison, me getting into it, like close friends, and we falling out about, you know, just them showing them true colors while I was in a vulnerable state. You know, it just made me realize a lot. And then while I'm doing this time, I was able to work on myself a lot. I went in there with the mindset like, you know, I don't want to go here and wasting time. I got 3 years, but what can I do in this 3 years to put myself ahead of myself and ahead of other people? I was already ahead of my friends, and but how can I use this situation to be at an advantage when I get out? Right. So I went straight to working out. That was the first thing I started doing, working out heavy, like twice a day, 3 times a day. You know, it wasn't nothing else to do in there. So, so I had to work out. So working out, reading, studying other criminals. So let me say this. When I first went in, that wasn't the mind, because I really was trying to go in there to learn learning ways to be a better criminal.
Really? Yeah, so you didn't learn your lesson anyway?
No, I didn't learn my lesson.
So you looked at it like, oh, here's a networking opportunity.
That's definitely what it was, because I only met one person in my whole 3-year stretch that wanted to change their life. One person that was like, when I get out, I'm changing my life. It was one person, and he was my age. Everybody was like, yo, when I get out, bro, I'm about to go. They were doing legal things while they was in there. People making calls, moving weight, whatever they was doing it while they in there. Nobody went in there for rehabilitation.
Vonza.com, Uyi and Faith. I want to say congratulations on just working hard, being entrepreneurs. You guys have a great website, and I want you guys to keep working hard. I've been to your website, Vonza.com, and guess what? I'm going again. Keep up the great work.
Wow.
But then there's no emphasis on rehabilitation. As far as I can see, and as far as I know, I don't feel like the system as it stands right now is for rehab. It's more like, let us take you out off of the street, put you in there, leave you to yourself, figure it out, and then when your time is up, you can go back out. But
and we hope you don't come back.
Fingers crossed, you know, put a Hail Mary out there and hopefully you don't come back. But it's like, why would somebody not come back? You didn't give them anything to use to their advantage. You didn't give them a skill. You didn't give them a trade. You didn't help them in their mindset, which is why so many ministries and churches go into, you know, the facilities and do some type of rehab, at least of the spirit, and then they get out and they have somewhere to go to. But I just don't feel like it's rehab. I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
a way to, you know, a punishment, and then
it's a money game too.
Oh, for sure.
You know, they are private
owned. Absolutely.
Which doesn't even make any sense in the first place.
It doesn't.
It has to be self. Like, you got to want it for yourself.
But a lot of people don't want it for themselves. They've just been through too much to.
Even if you was to put them in rehab, or, you know, put them in a situation where they could change life, they're going to do it just to pass the time. You got to really want it for real. Okay. If you don't want that, then you'll take these classes, but you'll have this same mentality when you get out. Like, you don't know any other way. We don't know any other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, we only know one way. If you was selling drugs, that's all you know how to do. So you're gonna do what's most comfortable to you. So I know how to do, you know what I'm saying, work on a computer, you know, whether it be fraud, whether it be editing, you know, like, that is my skill. My skill set is on this computer. So I really wanted it for myself. Like, I didn't want to. Let me not say that. First, I had to go through some stuff in prison for me to change, because as I was doing time, they offered me like a year early release. Okay. You'll get a year early release, and you'll get another year off by going to the halfway house a year early. So I was only going to do like a year and a half. Okay. So I'm like, well, shit, I'm about to get right back to what I was doing. But it was a setback. I ended up getting in trouble in prison, losing a year, having to sit in prison another year and a half, and like, damn, like, okay, why is God doing this to me?
Wow.
So I always try to take the positive out of every situation. Like, why is this happening? God wants me to realize something. What is it? Like, okay, I don't need to go out here and do the same thing. I need to come up with another plan. Even if I was to go out there and do again, I need to have a plan behind it. Okay, I'm gonna accumulate all this money, but what am I gonna do with this money? So what I started doing was creating a brand. Like, okay, let me figure out, like, okay.
In prison or when you got
in prison.
Wow.
So I was in prison. I came up with the name Finessers Only Club. I came up with Rich Unemployed. I came up with all these different ideas of, it wasn't a podcast. It was just a brand. Like, okay, I'm going to brand myself and how I was going to make money from it. Then I started taking classes, Forex, real estate, credit. I started like just filling myself up with information where I could use when I get out. And I was planning on teaching financial literacy as well too. Like, you know, I got all this game. I can go teach people this stuff. And I didn't even know that was a thing. And then when I got out, I seen all these people doing it. I was like, God damn, man. Like, I thought I was gonna be the first one doing it. I didn't think people was out here doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And so like that was gonna be my approach. I'm gonna be this finesser guy, but I'm gonna teach financial literacy. I'm gonna teach people about credit and real estate and different things that I learned. And when I got out, I just got to it. I went straight to it. I went to building the brand up. And that's why I'm here.
You know, that's a very interesting story. You know, one of the things that hold people back is that they have all these ideas and goals and dreams, but they don't know where to start or where to go. What was your first step? Somebody's watching right now, maybe they've been through jail, prison, whatever, and they're looking at you and you super successful man and all of these great things happening for you. What was your first step that got you to where you are today?
A written plan.
Okay, after you got out of the prison, you have a plan. What was the first thing you did was it all planned out, or there were just some taking that first step, then kind of God just started adding some?
I just took the first step. I didn't even have a direction of all this. I had a notebook full of stuff. I didn't know how or where to start. I just started. So the first thing I did was I invested in some merch. All right, let me start branding myself with the merch. Okay, I got Finessers Only Club. I got the logo. Okay, now people can associate myself with this person, Finessers Only Club. And then I got a loft that I try to make for the brand. I got a pool table that was with a logo, had logos around the loft. I thought it was gonna be like a little store or something. Like, you know, people could pull up and get merch from me. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing, you know, like, and then
that's powerful.
Taking action.
You don't need to have like you don't need to know the first steps. You just need to do a step.
Yeah.
And then I started figuring out, okay, this is how I want to do it. Okay, I need to do this. And then I figured that I was really good on camera with talking. So I was talking on my phone the same way I do with podcasting, but just on my phone, giving little gems out of like, you know, like my first one was like, you know, stop waiting for people to put you on. Like, you know, put yourself on. You know, that was like my first message to the world. And people was like, damn, like people really resonated with that. And then my second was like, you know what? Weed, you know, like weed is like slows me. I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about other people. I'm like, weed slows me down. I need to stop smoking, blase, blase. And people really resonated with it. And I was like, well, damn. People like listening to me. And then I did someone's podcast. I see myself on camera and I was like, you know, I'm made for this. Okay. And I paid somebody $20,000 to teach me podcasting. And
wow. You invested in yourself and in your craft.
Yes.
I invested. Listen, I had 6 figures when I got out of prison. I spent so much money just investing in living life. I was down to like 10,000 and I didn't know where it went. I was renting cars, but it was me building the brand up, but I was outside. I was investing to my loft, investing to the merch. I was buying cameras. I was doing all this stuff and the money was just trickling down and I didn't even notice. And I looked at the numbers. Oh, damn, all right. I gotta do something else. You know what I mean? So, and then I got into Airbnbs. I used that little money I had. Well, I was already doing Airbnbs, but I used that money to really focus on Airbnbs and build the money back up.
Okay. But I like what you said too. You said that you had a written plan. Was that the plan you were following when you were buying all this stuff?
Yes. It was just building the brand. Like,
okay.
I just had ideas of what I wanted.
Okay. So we'll go with that. So you had a written plan. So you actually took the time, because we're trying to help out the viewers, right? Because a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know what to do. I have all these ideas, but I don't know what to do. But you just said, take action.
Yeah.
Just take the first step. Just take some type of action and you'll start seeing things materialize. You start getting ideas. You start understanding yourself. And then I like what you said when you went on the podcast and you saw yourself. So you literally affirmed yourself and said, I look good on camera. I'm going to do this more often. And then you just kept doing it. And that's pretty much how the birth of the controversial podcast as it is was born.
I also believe
awesome.
I also believe in the law of attraction and manifesting. So like when you take the first step, the universe is gonna take a step with you. So you gotta take the first step. God is gonna be there with you. So you have to, I'm taking the step, is God is gonna start attracting different things to me. So by me being on someone else's podcast, I didn't know that podcasting was my thing. But me being on someone else's podcast and seeing myself and hearing myself, oh, I can really form this into something for real. You know, let me work on the image. Let me work on my set, my lighting. So it's different things that started coming to me. And then even me paying someone, you know, I paid someone $20,000 and didn't learn anything from them.
I thought you were going to say you paid $20,000 and you got the blueprint.
No, I paid someone $20,000 and what I got from him was confidence. Okay. He gave me enough confidence to start a podcast because I was playing around, you know, like I wanted to do the podcast. These are ideas in my head, but I'm like, I don't know how, I don't know what. I'm already familiar with cameras, lights and everything, but why I'm not doing it. So when he made the offer, $20,000, I'm like, damn, if I pay this, I really got to do this. Like, I ain't got just $20,000 to be throwing. I never spent $20,000 on anything. You know, not a watch, nothing. You know what I mean? So $20,000 was a really big leap for me. And once I paid him and I'm sitting in his mentorship, I'm like, damn, I'm not learning. I wasn't learning what other people was learning because they were older. They didn't know content creation, lights, cameras. That stuff was boring to me. I wanted to know how to make some money and how to sit down and talk to people. But he gave me enough confidence to start. Okay. And now we're friends. You know, it was a really good investment because if I didn't pay the $20,000, I probably wouldn't have a podcast. And now he shows me ways how to monetize the podcast, make six figures. So, and then another thing I would say too, me starting my podcast, if you go back in my first episode, it was trash. So I didn't perfect it to now. You know, it took me a year and some change to perfect the craft, but I took the step. You know, like I didn't care about people judging me on the look or like my confidence in interviewing people. Like I didn't have this confidence at first, even with the way I dress, how I look, how I speak. Like I'm more like enthusiastic when I'm on camera now. Like I could really like be myself and say things that I couldn't have in the beginning. But some people wait for perfection.
It's the downfall of many, but the uprising of others too, because with you not looking for perfection, you just come on and you just share whatever's on your heart or from your personal experience, which makes a lot of people mad if you haven't noticed. But it seems like you like that.
I love it.
But what do you gain from that? What is the gain in riling people up? Because I know there's going to be some people who are going to watch this. They're going to sit there on their phone and look you up and type your name in and start looking at content while they're watching this video and say, like, what's up with this guy? Like, it seems like he's enjoying this.
You'll love me or hate me. Either way, I'm going to get paid.
And you're okay with that?
Yes, because I'm not going to be loved by everybody.
Okay.
You know, I'm not, even if I didn't piss people off, there's going to be people out there that don't like me regardless. So I'm not here to make people like me. I'm here to keep people entertained. So, you know, like people don't like Tyler Perry. Some people don't like him.
Very true.
But that don't stop him from making money. That don't make him stop him from his craft, you know, like, so I understand the concept. All publicity is good publicity. And all I'm doing on this mic is sharing my experiences in life. I'm not making none of this stuff up. The stuff that you hear me talking about with women, okay, you might not like it, but this is happening every day, you know, amongst me, amongst my friends, people that I know, women that I hear. So you might not like the delivery, but it's facts. You know, that's just the culture. You know, that's the culture we living in. I'm not changing the culture. I'm not making the culture negative. I'm bringing light to a situation that some guys don't know about, the situation some women don't know about. You know, I'm just bringing the gap. I'm bridging the gap between men and women. That's all I'm doing. And people might not like that. Oh, well, you always speaking down on women. I ain't never spoke down on not one woman. I don't think so. My stories is just the stories that I go through with women. Okay. That's all.
So let me ask you though, so your podcast, right, is very popular, right? And you share a lot of your opinion and your thoughts on that, you know. So how did you choose to become this person that people love and people hate? How did you become that person? Was it like just a calculated thing, or was it just something that just evolved over time and you'd be like, you know what, I just want to share my opinion because of blah, 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 you know?
It was a process. It was first when I read The Art of Seduction, right? That book gave me a lot of detail when it came to just psychology and how to and how people look at you and how you can change people's perception of you and how you can use images to direct people thought.
Okay.
So as I'm doing the podcast, I'm just realizing at first it was just financial literacy, and that's not like my strongest suit. You know, I can't just talk about financial literacy all day, every day. That's not me. I feel like I was trying to be someone else, you know, trying to copy someone else's podcast. That's not me. So, and then I just started just trying different things out. Like I wanted to bring my life to the podcast. So the things that I go through in a day-to-day basis, okay, I talk to entrepreneurs, yes, but I also talk to other entrepreneurs that are not legal, trappers, scammers, you know, strippers. Like I talk to a variety of people. So like, let me not throw these people away. Like I need to bring light to these people as well, because it's other people that don't connect with financial literacy. They don't understand that. These are people in Bankhead that are going through this same type of stuff I'm going through. So let me bring it to light. Let me start talking about my first situation that I ever talked about with my monologues was like a situation when I was going through with the guy, my friend in prison. And I felt like he was too busy watching me on Instagram that he felt like I had a lot of money and I should always be sending him money. And I was like, don't be watching my pockets, you know, like, and I felt like a lot of people resonated. Like, yeah, like I go through the same stuff too. So once I started like telling stories and I felt people was resonating with it, all right, cool. Then I started really crafting me as a person. I started really playing with my appearance. Okay, when I look like this, I understand like this might be the first time people see me on camera. How can I make an everlasting impression? It might not be the words, it might just be the look. So like your image will always have this image in your head of me. But I learned this from art of seduction and 48 Laws of Power.
Wow, and you've used it quite well. Okay, now let's switch over now to the act of seduction. So what's that really? You know, if somebody's watching right now, let's say this podcast is called How to Seduce Clients and Women and stuff like that. I like
that title.
Yeah, so what are some tips you can give to a guy or a girl or somebody watching right now on how to use the act of seduction for their business in a good way, right?
Well, art of seduction, for one, you can't play around with it, because once you enter this realm, it's something that you just can't unsee. Like I live in a different reality because...
Okay, break it down for us. All right, now, this is the right time, guys. So, okay, before we do, let me take a quick commercial break now. This video is brought to you by Vonza.com.
Vonza.
The best platform for your online business, your courses, your membership, all in one place. No more trying to tie messy tools together. Just use Vonza, simplify your life, your business, and start seducing or seducing your clients instead of messing with messy tech. All right, so back to that. So break it down. Don't hold anything back from our viewers, though, okay? They really watch you right now. I know you got some course and great things coming up, which you're going to share later, but just give them little tips on what's the act of seduction.
Yes, okay. What I meant by I live in a different realm, because I understand... I just understand humans a little better now, you know, like... And it's just with regular life. When I walk in restaurants, or for an example, when I walk in restaurants, from everybody from the front door to the people that's working there, I'm seducing everyone. So like the valet, you know, I make sure that I tip him an extra tip. You know, like every time he remembers me, like that's that guy that always tips. And he's always gonna treat me good. So and if I pull up with a woman, you know, like they know me by my name, you know, like that impresses the woman as well. You know, that's just little tactics for dating. The doorman, he knows me, you know, like I'm always speaking to him, having small talk. So like they love me, you know, like it's just like they love me. I show up like this. Like, so some people never see me without a suit. So like sometimes when you see me on my podcast, I go to these restaurants in a suit purposely. That's just my, what is the word?
That's your like normal attire, like that's your standard.
Yes, it's like damn. The thing that I do before, like I do this every time before I go on my podcast. Like I go to this certain restaurant, eat the same food, drink the same wine.
Your ritual.
Yeah, my ritual.
Your routine. Okay.
Yes, my routine. Okay. So that is my ritual. You'll see me in this suit. So now I go.
Hold on, please. You go to the same restaurant, you eat the same food before your podcast. So that's a ritual. Is there any special significance to that? Does that make you more seductive, or
it just gets me in that mode?
Okay,
yes. You know what I'm saying? It gets me into like my character. You know, like because I have different characters. You know, like you get one side of me, but sometimes you get this podcast guy out of me, you know. So I sit there and I formulate my thoughts. You know, I'm eating the same food, I'm drinking the same wine, and then now I'm amped up to go perform. So okay, back to the host. So I approach the host. The host, you know, I'm seducing her with my eyes. You know, I'm flirting with her. You know, I'm talking to her for maybe 5 minutes. So they love me too. You know, the waitress love me. I leave her extra tips. So I'm seducing on a mass level. So I understand like this is gonna come back to me one way, shape, or form. If I seduce the whole world, really just being kind. That's just another form. Being kind, but putting a layer on top of it. The way I dress, the way that that people might think that I'm interested in them, and I'm calculating all this. And one day, it's going to come circle back to me. The generosity, the kindness, the seduction, some way, shape, or form, I'm gonna get paid in return. And then it doesn't have to be money. It could be somebody referring some things to me or keeping my name in their mouth. Like, oh, that's the guy, and I love him. I don't know what he does. He's so mysterious. I don't know. So seduction is just an art, and I live my life in art form. Not always, you know, like I'm not always dressed like this. I'm not always trying to like seduce people, but it's sometimes the words that come out of my mouth, it just seems like I'm reading people. Like I read people a lot, you know, because if you don't know your target, because you have to have a target. My target, I have different targets. I have, you know, the man, the target. That's who I'm trying to seduce. And I seduce the man by, you know, relating to him, having these same stories, or having these stories that you probably you'll never live. You know, like, oh, you're dealing with multiple women. Or I could tell about a story that I had 2 women in the same setting or something like that. And it's like, damn, like this guy seems like he's godlike, you know. And or relating to the guys. And then the women, you know, I seduce them by dressing a certain way, looking like this perfect, put together man. I might not be perfect in a lot of women's eyes, but a lot of women are definitely attracted to me. And I don't want to be attractive to every woman, but most of them, yes. So I use this art, this power, but now that I have it, it's hard not to abuse, because I know that when it comes to social media, I know that a lot of women are attracted to me because of what I put out, how I look, you know, because I formulated this. I know that you attracted to me because of this is what you see. And now I have to turn down a lot of women. And then it's a lot of women that get through the cracks. And it's like,
okay. A lot or few?
A lot.
I was going to say a lot.
A lot.
Because I know women, a lot of women like that edge. They like a bad boy. They like, and it's for us, any woman with their head screwed on, right. They don't have to be super duper good looking, super handsome. Most girls, we have conversations like we don't want our guy to look that good, because then that means he's attractive to everybody, and now she has to be worried about everybody, even her girlfriend. So we don't want no handsome guy. We just want a good looking guy that takes care of himself, that has something about him that stands out amongst others. So when you see a group of guys, you're like, that's the one I want. And it's not necessarily 100% about looks. It's just their aura, how they stand, how they're confident. Confidence will push any good-looking guy to the trash can.
Okay, but hold on. I got back a little bit. Because a lot of men feel like you need the number one. Let's see what you both think. Okay, you're the Mr. Finesse and you're the counselor. Okay, so what's the most important for a man if you have to choose one? Confidence or money to attract clients or beautiful women? Confidence, not money. But there's this thing on social media nowadays, a man that doesn't have bread can't get a fine woman.
But that's because, you know why? It's because a lot of men leave their confidence to the money. And so they feel like, oh, I have to have money. That's when they're going to have confidence. But a truly confident person, they could have nothing in their account and they will be just fine. They literally will be like Jesus. They don't have to have a house. They can go from home to home to home and they will be well received. Okay?
Really?
My confidence is through the roof. And sometimes, you know, I try to preach this. All you have to do is act confident. You know, people don't know that you're nervous. People don't know that you're scared. You just have to act confident and don't let it show. So that's half of the game. But my confidence is through the roof because I don't lead with money, for one. And I don't have any money. You know what I'm saying? I don't think people assume that I'm just multi-millionaire, which is, you know, I've been there, but right now I'm not. And I use that as fuel too. You know, okay, people think that I have money. All right, bet. All right, you think that I have money? Let me not use any of it. I don't have to use any. All I have to do is pay for dates. That's all I have to do.
Okay, that's all I have to do. What about the Chanel bags, the fancy trips? Because I have friends that have spent literally 6-7 figures on women and sometimes don't get much from it.
They don't have confidence, because if you have confidence, you don't have to buy that stuff. You would know that I don't have to buy this for this woman to stay.
Okay, I gotta push back on that a little bit, bro. Because I see social media, I see a lot of these women, right? And they claim that if you're not gonna take me on fancy dates or Chanel bags and all these great things, you know, you don't have a chance, that most men don't have a chance with them. You're saying that's not true?
That's not true.
So you're giving men a lot of hope right now. You know that?
For one, all you have to do is work on self-image. And once you look like that guy, if you're a desirable man, they're saying that to the guy that has to work hard for it. You know, the less desirable guy, you know, the guy that probably doesn't have money. But if you got some money and you look good and your presentation as well, women just want that. They just want a guy that looks, you know, looks the part, you know, is well-rounded. You know, you don't have to spend any money. It'd be the guys that's spending money that don't have confidence, that don't even have the money sometimes. Some guys don't even have the money, but they're going to spend it just so they can keep up this persona. I haven't bought a bag. I haven't bought a bag in years. I haven't bought a Chanel bag since 2020. 2020 is the last time I bought a bag. The last time I really spent money on a woman.
What was different about that person?
She was my girlfriend.
Oh, you're in there.
She was my girlfriend. I thought she was gonna be my wife. And that was the only reason. Well, yeah.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm obviously from a different generation. I don't know if I guess maybe there's a certain crowd. It depends on the crowd. But for me and what I was doing, 19 years ago, my thing was emotional intelligence. My thing was just having some type of confidence, like knowing where you're going. I knew what I wanted to achieve in life, and I just wanted someone who had an even bigger vision than I did. We didn't have to know how we were going to get there. I didn't care. Just that you had the vision. I felt like if you had it, God gave it to you, and he could fuel you as long as you're willing to do it. So my job was to come behind you, and, you know, we have that relationship with God. You can't see him, but you can see me. You can feel me. So I want you to feel that and know that God is using me to push you to get to that vision that you have. That was like my requirement. You didn't have to have a lot of money. I wasn't looking for a Chanel bag. I couldn't even buy myself a Chanel bag, let alone look for somebody else to buy me one.
Yeah, but I gotta stop you there though, because that's probably what's going on with these city girls and these.
You better leave them city girls alone.
Yeah, you know how I feel. You know how I feel about it. You know,
I like the city girls. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that, honey.
You feel the way you feel, but I like the city girls.
When I was on your podcast, thank you for having me. You posted one of the clips, and one of the comments that was so consistent was that a lot of people felt like, you know, the part that you posted about a relationship, that a lot of people felt like women like you were rare nowadays, you know, that want to build with a man. She's
rare.
Huh?
That's rare.
How?
Something that dating is different now.
No. I know ladies. I have ladies in my circle who I have their phone number. I have their Instagram. They are visionary women. They just they're not even impressed by money.
But they are few, and they are not on social media.
The thing is, you can say that, but you know, they would say that, but let the guy approach them in the same kind of car you had. It's not going to be as easy. They got to work a little harder.
But he had confidence, though. Like he had.
But now confidence is not just enough for a lot of these women.
Okay, I'll also say this. It depends on the age.
I was about to say the age.
It depends on the age.
If you're 30 years old, women going to lose hope.
Yeah, because we were, 23?
20-something.
So 20-somethings, you have that.
Yeah.
That buffer, that have that room.
That leeway.
30s, you should have something going on for yourself. At my age, at my big age now, you come the way you came when we was 23, it'd be an absolute positively no. I don't care how much vision you have. Why haven't you done it this far? So there has to be some type of, you're talking this talk, but where's the walk? Where's the
Right.
proof? Where it like, let me see something. And I will say, they may get mad and I really don't care. A lot of the guys in the comment section, I don't
In this comment section.
I don't feel like I was definitely watching your stuff, but I don't watch, even though for whatever reason now you're in my For You page on Instagram, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to consume his content. It's not for me. But a lot of the guys in your comment section, the boys tell on themselves with their comments. Like, I know you don't have anything for yourself. I know you don't have nothing going for yourself. I can tell just by your communication style and your language and how you're moving on social media in the comments. I can tell. It's a turnoff. Like, I'm not like, if I'm just thinking from a single perspective, because I have my girls. Okay, shout out to my girlies. You will be married soon in Jesus' name. But those they're repulsive. Like,
I get it. But could you also be to them? Some of those men are talking from experience too.
They may be, but it's your.
Just so I think some men are so torn off nowadays with a woman that just seem like that she just want to come take and not to give and not to.
Here's the.
But let's see what Mr. Finesse wants.
No, okay. Let me pose this to you because you're the expert, right? Yes, you are. My thing is, the guys that have had a lot of these bad experiences, I feel, and I know I'm generalizing, but I feel like it's because they are leading with their penis. They are.
Did you just say that?
I did. They are picking women based on what physically, it's all physicality versus what type of head she has on her shoulders and what she can actually bring to the table, what type of drive she has, what type of confidence she would have in him. And so when you lead with that, you get those type of experiences. Listen, I believe in law of attraction as well. I believe in the law of faith. Whatever you put out into the world, into the atmosphere, it will come back to you.
They're attracting the wrong women.
They're attracting it for themselves.
The wrong women for them.
For them, yes.
What do you think?
What do you say to that? Because I feel like it's their fault to a certain degree.
But you support it. I think
not supporting
a lot of women
girls.
Just support women somehow.
No.
You don't understand what men go through too.
No, I get it.
But sometimes we don't understand what women go through.
Correct.
Too. So sometimes there's this divide.
Some women are scared to even say no to a guy because they don't know if they're going to get slapped, kicked, cut. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the streets nowadays. Okay. But let's stay focused. I think a lot of their experiences is because they're leading with the physicality versus the substance. And then now they're projecting it on everybody else. Expert, what do you say?
I'm the expert. Yeah. So I preach that, I tell guys that, choose your women wisely. And we go off the physical. Okay. And, by going off the physical, that's how you get the wrong women. Like we only judging them based off of the looks. And, I experienced that, you get this beautiful woman aesthetically, but it's like, there's no substance that come behind it. So the things that we're going through with women are because we're associating ourselves with the wrong women. And it's like, okay, but we're pushed, we're driven by looks. We want a woman to look good. And it's hard to get both. You know what I'm saying? A woman that looks good and she got something going on for herself. So I know like now that I'm older, I typically I don't want the baddest. I don't want the most beautiful girl. Of course I would want one, but I need somebody that's going to really feed my soul. I already experienced this. But you have to go through it. Guys have to go through the BS to understand. First you got to know yourself. You got to understand yourself because you just think that you want a beautiful girl, but what do you really, really need? Like you have to really ask yourself, what do I need in my life? I know I need a woman that's really going to feed into like life into me. Like this is going to help me propel. Like if I'm doing all these things, like how can you make my life easier? Not just a good looking woman on my arm or see how much money I got in my bank account. And you want things, like when women ask me for things, I'll be asking them like, why? What are you gonna do for me? Like it has to be in an equal exchange. Your looks can't be the exchange. Your sex can't be the exchange because I'm giving you sex as well. You being satisfied, I'm getting satisfied. So what else is it? Why would I want to spend my hard-earned money with a woman that ain't gonna bring it back? My girlfriend, I would want to spend a Chanel bag on because she's my girlfriend. I know that she's gonna eventually speak life into me. You know, like she's going to look out for my best interest. And we go for women that, city girls that are outside, you know, that has multiple men, right? They got multiple men on their line, guys with money that's spending, trying to get their time. And here we is getting in their mix and trying to outdo the other guy. And like, for what? Why am I doing all this? Just to have sex? Because it ain't nothing else gonna come from this. Like, you're not gonna be the woman of my dreams for real.
Exactly.
I'm wasting time, energy, money.
But isn't that emotional intelligence as well, though?
Yes.
Right? To now say, let me look at the big picture.
Right.
And see what's really happening with this person.
But just imagine if I went on my podcast and said this every day. Choose the right woman. Choose the right woman. You're choosing the wrong one. Nobody would listen. Nobody's gonna listen. You know, so I have to give them theatrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So all this, with all these women and these experiences now, and you kind of say you're wiser now, you're older, you know what you want. So have you found the right person?
No.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe there's a potential.
Maybe it's a potential.
Okay, all right.
Potential.
First time you heard it on the channel.
One or two potentials. But
Wait, not one or two.
I'm not focused on. I'm not focused on that.
Why not? He maybe needs to date around and find the right person.
Let me tell you why I wanted to.
Please do, because I need understanding.
You're African.
I am.
Okay. Here's just my thought process on it. I don't believe every man should have multiple women. Okay. I believe that if a man can handle, if he has enough emotional intelligence to be capable enough to handle all the emotions that come from multiple women, then by all means, then do it. I feel like it's too many single women, it's too many single mothers. So if a man, I'm honestly, because if every man was to choose one woman, it would be a plethora of women that are single and left by themselves. It's a lot of men incarcerated. It's a lot of men dead. It's a lot of men that's gay. So the options are very slim. And even if it was no gay men, if it wasn't no men in prison, if everybody was alive, the women would still be out of luck. So who fault is it? Did God intend it this way, or what? Why wouldn't God make it even? So please let me finish. So, because you want to rebuttal. So what I'm saying is, if you can do it, then do it. You're just really saving the world. You're just helping the world out, because... So
you're saving the world, I don't say helping women.
You're helping women. But society, why is it that women in Africa could in India and all these other places could be this way? Have this same ideas, and why is it America has brainwashed us to think that, you know, like women are jealous and women are just so territorial. But it's a different approach how men would choose and have these multiple women. It's a different lifestyle, so I understand. But I think women and men should be more open to, but they have to do it the right way. You have to be open to having, you know, how I see it is a family. You know, like we are raising a family, and we are life partners together. This is not just a relationship. We are life partners. So we made a decision that we're going to help each other in life.
Okay. All right. So
no. Let her talk.
Okay. Okay. Say your view, because we're going to round up.
Okay. So here's the thing. There are going to be... Okay. So you said so much. So here's the thing. In overseas, yes, I am African. I was born and raised here in America, but I am not first generation Nigerian American. And we see, this is what we call polygamy, and we see the effects of polygamy on the children predominantly. The women are not allowed to really speak because, unlike in America, women don't have, now they do, but at that some years ago, they didn't have that autonomy to be able to go into the workplace and take care of themselves. Their dads did not educate them. Your grandma was victim of this. Even though she was very intelligent, she did great things for herself, buying properties and selling and having businesses. Her dad said she could not go to school because she was going to become the property of her husband. So she would lose her last name. So he doesn't get any credit for that. So therefore she's not going to school. So there wasn't value attached to the longevity of a woman outside of her at her dad's home. Okay. Therefore, she doesn't have a voice to say whether or not she would prefer to share her husband with another woman. It just was what it was. We need you to go and marry that man so that we can get paid and get your bride price. Thank you. Your bride price to help the family, because that's why you're here. Okay. Right? So it wasn't necessarily because a woman chose that lifestyle for herself. Some do, but most don't. And they groveled about it, but they just couldn't grovel to the one who was providing for them. So it wasn't like it was something that everybody just, yay, women been not liking that, right? Now, if we fast forward it and we bring it to the States, there are going to be a lot of women who still would prefer to be by themselves because they don't want to deal with a spouse that has no emotional intelligence, that the only thing that they can do is give them sex and money. She can do that for herself. Nowadays, I'm not saying that I'm an advocate, but she can please herself to some degree. So they want to have an actual companion. And a lot of men just aren't on that level. And they don't want to share. I'm not sharing you. Period. Point blank. I'm not. Absolutely refuse. And from a psychological perspective, because, coach counselor, I feel it makes it clearer for children and for society as a whole to have that masculine, predominantly masculine, because we all have masculine and feminine qualities, but to have that predominantly masculine, have that predominantly feminine role played so that they can, and it be healthy and it be happy so that they can be well adjusted and it prepare them for life. There's nothing.
So that cannot be achieved in a polygamous setting. Is that what you're saying?
Not that it can't, but it does give room for kids to question themselves and question a lot of what's happening within them and what's happening. Like, for example, when you said that when you were growing up and, your mom left your dad, you were having thoughts, like you were having these conversations and rationalizations within yourself where you were like, well, maybe if I do this, he'll come back. Maybe he'll come get me, right?
I think is most traumatic. A child being able to see this polygamous situation, or a child that is left with that can't even answer the question with no dad, or this single mom. And so
it depends.
This is getting
it depends
deep now.
Because if it really depends, because if the polygamous home is predominantly about them getting their needs satisfied to where they're not paying attention to the kid, that's traumatic. If you're talking about a single parent home where the mom is or the dad is not around all the time and the kid is left to their own devices, that's traumatic. So it has to be an environment, any environment. It doesn't matter if it meets God's standards or society standards. Any environment that a kid is in, that they are able to express themselves, grow, and have love given to them is going to definitely be less traumatic than anything. That's just facts.
I believe that. Some love is better than no love.
Okay. So,
because we can keep going with this. Rich Nation.
And this is that jump too. Okay.
I know.
She's a psychologist.
I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna win with her.
Yeah, you're not. Bro.
I'm just gonna give her my thoughts.
I'm just trying to tell you, bro.
But I appreciate that your thoughts, even though they are different from mine and from society, for the most part, I would say, they're well thought out. One thing I don't like is just, oh, this is my stance. Okay, why?
Right.
Like, have you thought it out? Is there a rhyme? Is there a reason to it? Are you thinking about it in a well-rounded way? Or are you just doing it because it satisfies your loins?
Okay. All right. We're going to wrap it up now. It's almost an hour in because Dr. Faith, Jonathan, I should have told you, you're going to get us started. This is our jam, and it's going to be 3 hours episode. But this has been amazing. So many questions we didn't get to, but hopefully sometime maybe we can go in depth into polygamy and all this other stuff.
Y'all let us know if y'all want the expert to come back.
Yes.
The expert.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
This is your camera right there. Can you talk to the audience on, because I want them to also kind of learn, because a business podcast, learn some things too about how to use the art of seduction to get new clients to level up to make money, right? Maybe somebody's watching right now and they're just coming towards the end of the podcast and they're trying to struggle about how to attract clients. Kind of what people call now client attraction, all this stuff, right? So what are some tips you can share to that person watching right now, that's your camera, on how to use the act of seduction to grow their business, their personal brand, and anything else you want to share?
I would say, successful people want to do business with successful people. So half of the battle is looking successful. You don't have to be successful. You just have to speak and look like you're successful. And people are more prone to, hear you out. You know, if I showed up to a meeting with gym shoes, Jordans, and a white T-shirt versus what I have on now, people will listen to me.
Yeah.
You know, even if I'm on a podcast. So, image is very important. And then I would say,
say, don't hold back. Yeah, somebody's writing. New Rich Nation, I know you're writing.
Well, that's the most important part, image, and then knowing that surrounding yourself with other successful people. So you have to seduction. Don't think of it as you know, like a look or, you know, a feeling. It's a mindset. You know, people have to. It's people's thought process. So like you want to have an everlasting image on people. You want people to think of you when you're not around. And, you know, like, how do you do that? You know, like the things that you say, the way that you look, in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So can you also close us out now? Want to share one more dope thing that would really help somebody, but also to tell people how they can find you, follow you, and whatever else you want to plug.
I do want to say this. So like my mindset comes from me, not, what's the word? Not, I think outside the box when it comes to everything, when it comes to religion, when it comes to food, when it comes to relationship. I actually use my brain to think. And I don't think God put us on this earth not to use our brain.
Yeah.
So I have to question everything. I just don't go with what people tell me and put in front of me. I actually sit and think. So when, like, the way that I eat, you have to really sit and think, okay, the food business is a business. You know, they want more money. So how can they make more money? They need to produce more food, and they're not thinking about our health. So I sit and think, you know, like I think about women. I think about the system. I think about religion. You know, like what made me a Christian? I was only a Christian because my mom was a Christian. I didn't really think of why and what ways and why didn't I choose Muslim? Why didn't she choose Muslim? Some people don't question the world. They don't question what's put in front of them. So I would say, you know, think for yourself. You know, question things and don't
just go with the flow.
Go with what society puts in front of you. And also you can find me at Finessers Only Club. Rich and Unemployed is the podcast. I also got some really big things coming for everyone, not just men. Rich and Unemployed University, teaching people finance, finesse, fitness, philanthropy, and what's the other one? Fitness. Maybe I said all five, but just a program for people to learn from me. I might not be the perfect guy. I don't try to be perfect, but I do think that I have knowledge, and that this knowledge could be used by other people, and to learn how to finesse your way through life. That's coming real soon. Working with Vonza, working with the Vonza network, his platform, that's going to help me make about $1 million a day, right? In a day. So, yeah, just look out for that. Also, you know, if you do watch my content, understand that it's coming from my experiences in life. I'm not one-sided. I'm not biased or anything. This is just what I go through and what I put together to make into art and content for people to view. And if you don't like it, I mean, you know, you're still gonna watch. You're gonna comment or like. So thank you for the people that don't like me. Thank you for the people that do love me. I appreciate both of you guys.
Awesome. So can you wrap this up? So thank you everybody for watching today.
Use the art of seduction to move through life.
We'll see you in the next episode. So please follow Jonathan, Mr. Finesse Only, on all social medias. All the information will be on the show notes. God bless you. See you in the next episode.
Bye, New Rich Nation.
Bye, New Rich Nation.